Hi, my name is Jericho. I am a photographer, and I do think that these are well-marketed toy cameras that objectively look terrible for the price. So why did I buy not one, not two, not three, but four of them? Let's find out, huh? So this is the Camp Snap camera. So far, this is, I think, the third iteration of the same product that they've made, and it's $65. All right, really quick, let's talk about some of the stats. First off, it's an 8 megapixel CMOS sensor, and something really interesting that it does is if you're taking a picture and you're clumsy like that, no matter how bright it is, the photo is gonna look like this. Doesn't matter. Any amount of movement, since the sensor is reading out from top to bottom very slowly, is just gonna make your image look like Jell-O. And in my opinion, that is just a non-starter as far as image sensors. The rolling shutter visible in photos is just, it's not worth it. All right, let's talk about the lens. So this is technically a fixed focus lens, which really just means the focus is set to infinity, but it has a really small aperture, so most things are in focus, and it's a really wide lens, so most things are in focus. The website lists it as a f3.2 lens, which I guess technically for the sensor size it is, but let's look at it. That is essentially the size of a pinhole, so really that's what we're working with. And the minimum focus distance is actually not too bad. I'm gonna take a picture of my camera right here, and it is about arm's length from me. You'll see whether or not it's in focus. I think arm's length is about what I've measured. It tends to be just the edge of its focus. This shitty lens on this shitty sensor is kind of what combines to make that disposable digicam look that a lot of people actually really like. Myself included. I don't think it looks bad in the right circumstances. Okay, back to a couple things that this camera gets right. The USB-C rechargeable battery port, great. It's also a data port, great. With this type of toy camera, I don't want to worry about the memory card. I love that they give you the option to use a memory card, take it in and out, and put it in a card reader. But honestly, if I'm using this thing, I don't want to worry about remembering the memory card ever. So I'm just going to continue plugging it in with the USB-C cable to charge it and to export the photos. All right, let's talk about the Viewfinder. Now, it is technically a viewfinder, not just a hole cut out of the camera, because there is a lens in there to give you the right perspective. However, there's no frame lines, so we don't know exactly where the edge of our lens is gonna be, and those edges are affected by if you have glasses or not. When I look through it right here, it's more accurate than when I look through it with my glasses on, and both are not that accurate. I will say that's another huge point of contention that I have. I wish it just had a couple frame lines on the inside. I don't know how much more that would cost them, but I think it would be a big help. Okay, the next thing we're talking about is the LED flash. Yikes. It's not as bright as your iPhone, and that's not gonna do much for this tiny sensor, tiny lens combo. It just doesn't help very much unless it's completely dark. Here, I will show you right now. Let's turn on the flash. Yeah, you can see it, kinda. Yeah, it is technically visible, and of course it does help when it's super dark, but in general, I would say just leave it off, save your battery. I touched a little bit on the micro SD card that is in here, but let's get into it. It's 4 gigabytes, which when you break down the file size, it seems like you can take 2,000 photos, which is plenty on this camera. It's very slow, so you're not gonna be burning through photos like that. However, the counter on the back only has 3 digits, so I'm assuming it only counts to 999 and then maybe restarts. I have not tested that yet, but let me know if you have. I would love to know, I guess. The spot where it is on the camera is not accessible without a tool, which I kind of get, because if you're letting kids use this, you don't want them to accidentally take the SD card out and lose it or something like that, or eat it, I don't know. It makes sense. And then it has a little reset button, which I'm assuming formats the card, but I don't know, I haven't pressed it yet. I've just been deleting it when it's plugged in to my computer. A lot of the appeal of this camera is the look, so let's go over some of the features that you see on the outside. It is made of a cheap, hard plastic, and you know what? That seems right. For the price point, everything like that, you're just gonna use plastic. The front feels a lot nicer than the back does because it has this little fake leather plasticky thing, which is nice. It's got a tiny indent for the thumb, and at this weight, that actually does help you hold the camera. And it comes in a bunch of different colors, a bunch of good colors. I don't know, it's not that hard, but it's nice when people do it. So there's yellow, green, there's a bunch of ones. I'll show them on screen. Now the camera is $65, which, here's the thing. It feels like a lot, especially for what you're getting. However, when you look at the price compared to anybody else, no one is really hitting that low of a threshold as far as price for what this is. There's a couple other competitors, but the designs look worse and they are more expensive. So I do still feel like this is too expensive for what it is. However, they don't really have much competition in this price point. So I guess market-wise, it kind of makes sense. So it's pricey and imperfect. Who would want to use this? Well, frankly, for teachers and me as well. Guys, please sit down. Shane, please sit down. So to answer the question at the beginning of the video, I actually didn't buy these cameras, all 4 of them. I currently work for a really awesome nonprofit called Arts Connection, and they provide artists with jobs and kids with opportunities to learn art. So I teach an after-school photography program. I was given a budget and I chose these cameras for a few reasons. The first and most important one is the simple design gives the kids less distractions and the ability to focus on what I feel like is the most important things to learn for photography, which is composition, storytelling, and subject matter. And this has really helped when you don't have to think about anything except clicking the shutter and what is through your viewfinder. Not to mention the price point allowed me to buy multiple cameras, and so not just one student was taking a photo at a time. Okay, guys, I promised I had fruit snacks, so here you go. This is also for people who want to have fun taking pictures, making memories, and they don't want to pull out their smartphone. A huge part of this camera and a big thing I like about it is it's not a smartphone and it doesn't have a screen. Again, relating to film, that's why I like film, because I'm not looking at the photos while I'm taking them. I'm still in the moment. I'm not reviewing anything, you know, I hope that photo worked, and if it did, fantastic. If it didn't, I'll probably forget what I took it of. To add on to that, it's such a different feeling when you're taking a photo with a camera like this, because, okay, I just took a picture, maybe I'll put that on my computer, maybe then I'll transfer it to my phone, and then maybe I'll post it on Instagram. Where when I take out my phone, I could be recording a video, I could be taking a photo to post right away, I could be live streaming. It has a weird vibe when you use your phone, like you're being watched. Where this is more genuine fun because the photo might not turn out, it's gonna look goofy, it's just gonna be a fun memory, and you can't immediately post it. Okay, so we talked about who it's for. Who's it not for? Well, that one's pretty easy. There's a lot. It's pretty much everybody not listed. So if you're not teaching, and if you're worried about how any of the photos come out, like if you're like, I need this photo, don't use this camera. My God. Anything with low light is a super hard no. Anything with fast motion is a hard no, unless you think it's fun to take a photo that looks like this. I love this photo. My friend Max took this photo, who's also the person that put me onto this camera. Shout out, Max. But yeah, this photo of me riding a bike, as I go by, I wasn't even going that fast, but you can see it warps the image and I look goofy going by. Also, 8 megapixel sensor. It is lower quality than your phone, most likely. However, it's not that bad as long as you're not cropping in or printing larger prints. You know, like a 4x6 print will look lovely with this camera. Anything full page or more, you're gonna start seeing those pixels. Okay, I do need to talk about the film-like aesthetic that this camera claims to have. It doesn't look like film in almost any way other than sometimes film photography can look bad in a charming way. I think this also looks bad in a charming way. So they have some LUTs or presets that you can install into the camera. You can only install one at a time. I tried out the film one to make it look more retro, more film-like, and I genuinely didn't notice a difference. But yeah, this is much closer akin to a Digicam look, just with a preset on it that kind of pumps some of the colors up. So in conclusion, this is an extremely niche camera that is great for the people who actually like what it does. and is just something you should not even buy, look into, or use if you don't feel like one of those people. Anyway, I think that's about it, so please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get monetized over here, so you know, I've gotten a couple comments that said, I can't believe you don't have more subscribers. You know what? Same. I can't believe it either. Subscribe if you made it this far, bastards.